Peppa Pig has several really cool characters who are present in almost every episode. But do you really know the show's hidden characters? We're talking about those who were mentioned but never seen, as well as those who appeared only a handful of times throughout the series.
Peppa Pig.
There is a voice that is present in every episode of Peppa Pig, always explaining what just happened to help the younger children who watch the show. We call him the narrator, because that's exactly what he does, narrate. However, we don't know whether this voice has a real name or even a body. Is he truly just the narrator, or is there an actual character in the world of Peppa Pig who observes and narrates the piglets' adventures? This is a mystery we still don't have an answer to, and it's possible we may never discover the truth, unless someone from the show's production team confirms that the narrator is just the voice, or on the contrary, the series confirms that the narrator is a real character by making him physically appear in an episode. Honestly, the narrator sometimes sounds surprised and questions certain things, which suggests that he doesn't know everything. In other words, that he is a character. And if that's the case, he's just one of the 11 hidden characters you don't know from Peppa Pig. Stay tuned because another Cinewave full of new stuff is starting now. Mr. Gazelle. Madame Gazelle is one of the most interesting characters on the show. She isn't just a nice teacher. There are several clues suggesting that she is a vampire. Her reflection doesn't appear in the mirror, and she was the teacher of Peppa's parents a long time ago. Yet she still looks exactly the same today. Another interesting detail is that inside her house, we can see a black and white photo of a male gazelle. The image looks quite old, and normally we might think it's a picture of Peppa's teacher's father. However, since we know she doesn't age, it's very likely that this photo is of her husband. It would be really cool if he appeared in the series, but the chances of that happening are very low for a sad reason. The photo is black and white, which suggests that Madame Gazelle's husband probably passed away from old age many years ago, since he was likely a regular gazelle and not a vampire. That explains why Madame Gazelle has never appeared with a husband, but at the same time, she doesn't seem interested in relationships either. She is a widow and may not have overcome the trauma of losing her husband. Wow, now I kind of feel sorry for her. Great Aunt Eevee. Baby Eevee couldn't be on a list like this, since she has been appearing quite a lot in Peppa Pig. But the one who truly deserves to be mentioned here is Great Aunt Eevee. She is a distant relative of Peppa, and Mummy Pig named her youngest daughter Eevee precisely in honor of Great Aunt Eevee. She was mentioned for the first time quite recently, after the birth of Peppa's little sister, and only appeared in a single very old photograph. Since everyone refers to her in the past and the photo has no color, it's very clear that Great Aunt Eevee is no longer alive, which explains why she never appeared before. It's interesting how, even though Peppa Pig is a very child-friendly show where the characters don't age, there are characters who have already been dead since before the very first episode. Does this mean that Peppa and her friends might actually start aging for real at some point? Daddy Sheep. We've already seen several members of the sheep family: Susie, Mummy Sheep, Granny Sheep, and even Charlotte, Susie's cousin. But we've never had the chance to see Daddy Sheep, which is very strange. He hasn't appeared even after so many episodes, especially considering that Susie is a very important character as Peppa's best friend. That makes him one of the most hidden characters in the show. One thing we can be sure of, Daddy Sheep is not part of Susie's life, and the reason has never been revealed. The Sheep family prefers to act as if he never existed. Could he be another character who passed away before the very first episode of Peppa Pig? Or did he divorce Mummy Sheep, with Susie's custody staying with her? If you also love thinking about the mysterious characters in animated shows, comment down below, #hidden. Mr. Hamster. Unlike Daddy Sheep, Dr. Hamster's husband at least lives with her. We know they are still together, we've just never seen him on screen. At one point, Mr. Hamster called the doctor and told her she was late for tea. After that, he never appeared again. If you even consider that scene an appearance, because we can safely say he has never truly shown up in the series. It almost feels like the Peppa Pig production team also forgets about Mr. Hamster's existence. In one piece of artwork that lists the characters, Dr. Hamster appears alongside characters who are not married, as if she were single, which we know is not the case. If even the show itself doesn't bother remembering Mr. Hamster, the chances of him appearing again keep getting smaller. but let's hope he doesn't stay missing for too long. Paternal grandparents. Mr. Hamster's situation is still better than that of Peppa's grandparents. I mean, the grandparents on Mummy Pig's side appear quite often and are far from hidden, but we can't say the same about her grandparents on her father's side. Their identities are a complete mystery. Just like Daddy Sheep, these grandparents have never appeared or even been mentioned, making it seem as if they simply never existed. But we know that's impossible, since Daddy Pig and his brother must have parents, unless they somehow just appeared in the world on their own, which would be absurd even for a show like Peppa Pig. At this point, you might imagine there's a good chance that Peppa's paternal grandparents have already passed away, just like some of the hidden characters we've mentioned so far. Many fans also believe that Daddy Pig's parents are estranged from him for some reason and cut off all contact, which would be pretty shocking. What could Daddy Pig have done to upset them that much? Carol Cow. Carol Cow is basically the perfect representation of a hidden character. We know she exists, we've even seen her at some point, but we're not sure who she really is. The little girl appeared in a few episodes, but only as a background character who's part of the scenery. What's strange is that, unlike other background characters, she seems to have a backstory we're simply not sure about, because we even see her walking around with Mrs. Cow and Mr. Bull. They got married recently and couldn't possibly have had a daughter together so quickly. Could she be the daughter from a previous marriage of Mrs. Cow, with Mr. Bull now becoming her stepfather? That could be the case, but it's never been fully confirmed, because Carol Cow has never really been treated like a true character. It's as if she's a premium background extra. Granny Rabbit. Grandpa Rabbit is another character who has appeared in a good number of episodes, but the same can't be said about Granny Rabbit, his wife. Even though he has, at the very least, two daughters, Mummy Rabbit and Miss Rabbit, we've never seen their mother, and we don't even need to point out that, given Grandpa Rabbit's age, his wife is yet another character who has most likely already passed away by this point, right? Otherwise, we should have at least seen her visiting Mummy Rabbit's twins, but Grandpa Rabbit's solitary lifestyle makes it pretty clear that the poor guy must be a widower, which explains why he's so focused on building inventions instead of spending time with other people.
Ever thought about always having new animation content on your feed? Just subscribe and hit the bell.
Aunt Dottie. Aunt Dottie's case is different because she's not quite as mysterious anymore, but she was a huge mystery for a very, very long time. It all started in a 2011 episode when Peppa and George received a present and a letter, both sent by Aunt Dottie. That's when we found out that she is Peppa's aunt who lives in another country. Then, guess how long it took for her to be mentioned again? More than 10 years, because she only returned in the Thanksgiving episode released at the end of 2024. This time, she wasn't just mentioned, she actually appeared for real, confirming that she truly existed. We also learned a few small details about Dottie, such as the fact that she is Mummy Pig's sister, not Daddy Pig's, which went against what many people thought, since most fans believed she was Daddy Pig's sister, just like Uncle Pig. Another thing we discovered is that she had seen Peppa when she was a baby, but had never actually seen George before this episode. Even so, Dottie has only appeared in a single episode, and there are still many things about her that we don't know. Is Dottie married? Does she have children? What does she do for a living? Which country does she live in? We still need to learn a lot about her for Dottie to stop being considered a hidden character. The Queen. The Queen's appearance in Peppa Pig drew a lot of attention, but the truth is that she appeared only a handful of times throughout the entire series, showing up exclusively in special moments. However, she completely stopped appearing starting in 2022, and the reason is simply shocking. 2022 was also the year one of the greatest tragedies for the entire United Kingdom occurred. Elizabeth II, the Queen of England, passed away after more than 90 years of life. At the time, jokes about Queen Elizabeth being immortal were common, but real life made that kind of thinking lose all meaning. And this has everything to do with Peppa Pig, since the Queen who appeared in the cartoon was a representation of Elizabeth II herself. When the real Queen passed away, the Queen in the animated series stopped appearing as well, suggesting that her life also came to an end in the Peppa Pig universe. Mr. Goat. Some of the most fun episodes of Peppa Pig are the three in which the pig family travels to Italy. These episodes feature special characters who live in the country, and one of them is Mr. Goat, who ends up helping Peppa's family a lot and being very kind to them. You can probably already guess why he's on this list, right? Unfortunately, Mr. Goat never had another appearance after the pigs returned to their homeland. We hope that changes someday. If Peppa ever travels to Italy again, Mr. Goat and other Italian characters could show up once more to satisfy the fans who miss them.
Take the chance and watch the two videos we left on the screen. I'm sure you'll have fun.
See you soon.